Now, Plantronics, however, is primarily a communications company. And I don't know about all of you, but a few years ago, my communications infrastructure was a desktop telephone plus a mobile. Today, the communications infrastructure that I use looks a little bit like this slide. So on a given day, I communicate through 1 to 2 tablets across smartphones with many, many different operating systems. I talk to people on Macs, people on PCs, people on Linux, literally all over the world. And a few years ago, some very, very bright standards people working together between the IETF and the W3C actually realized this was the world we were moving into and started talking about new communication standards to actually pull all these devices together to make sense of this world, so whichever of these devices we have, they could all richly communicate for voice, for video, and for screen and data sharing all simultaneously, regardless of operating system, regardless of the form factor of the device. And I think one of the pieces that they figured out pretty early was that the one common thread across all of these devices was going to be a web browser. So if you wanted to put a new real-time communications engine that spanned the entire world in, it should literally be embedded into the web browser, embedded into future versions of HTML. And indeed, that's what they did with a new standard that you're starting to hear a lot more about called WebRTC. WebRTC, or Web Real-Time Communications, is a set of real-time communications technologies that's actually been embedded into the HTML5 standard, and you're starting to see it in some leading web browsers, including Firefox from Mozilla, which we're going to use in some of our demonstrations here in a few minutes. Now, what makes this so significant is in the past, building a real-time communications application, building a voice, video, presence, screen sharing application usually took a few dozen, if not hundreds, of low-level C++ software engineers that knew about things like finite state machines, codec development, forward error correction, packet loss concealment, and some of you in the audience are getting very excited because you know what these things are. Others of you are going, my God, I don't have to learn that, do I? The whole idea is what's happened is the standards community has taken all of that, kind of the bottom half of writing something like a Skype or a Microsoft Link or a Cisco Jabber, and they've embedded it into the web browser and exposed it through JavaScript. So now building a communications application is much closer to a web skill set to build an application, which means it can move much, much faster, and there's many, many more millions of engineers that know how to do it. The idea is that we believe we're right on the edge of triggering an entire new wave of communications innovation where communications applications are going to start moving at the speed of the web instead of moving at the speed of the old telephone system. Very, very exciting. So why Plantronics? The reason Plantronics is involved in this is we are the world leader in building personal audio devices that create a great experience. So when I wear my Plantronics, and there's many, many different ones, I actually can have a phenomenal audio experience. People can hear exactly what I'm saying. I can hear what they're saying. And when we move into a world where anything with a web browser is potentially a voice and video communications client, having a piece of personal technology is going to get more important than ever. And we'll show how all that works in just a minute. So, okay, great, Joe. Why are all of these technologies being built into the web browser important? Why do you care as application engineers? or as executives of application companies. Well, how many of you are looking for markets with a lot of money in it to develop applications for? Does anybody care about money a little bit? Okay, not everybody is a socialist. Okay, got it. Good. All right. How big is the worldwide enterprise communications market per year? Ideas? Okay, good. According to Gartner, the worldwide annual communications market is about $2.1 trillion, so more than $2,000 billion per year gets spent by companies on PBXs, phones, long distance, contact centers, mobile phone contracts. That's an astounding amount of money. With a new technology coming in like WebRTC and some of the things that Plantronics brings to it, suddenly there's the ability during a market transition like a new standard for new companies to come in and build applications for this market very, very quickly. That's why we think Plantronics plus WebRTC is very, very interesting. Okay. So what we've done, so the reason we're involved, as I already mentioned, is because wearable technology is the one thing that pulls all this together. As Kerry will show in a few minutes when he comes up, the new Plantronics smarter headsets have sensors in them, as Philip mentioned. This headset knows if it's on my head or off of my head, if it's near or far from my PC, from my mobile phone, and so forth. So this headset has the ability, through its APIs, through its application programming interfaces, to really pull all of these devices together and make sense of them in a very productive communications infrastructure. So what we've done is actually create a developer community around this. We start with the Plantronics wearable technology. We're showing one headset in particular. We actually make dozens of different models for various kinds of consumers, businesses, contact centers, and on up to specialist headsets for air traffic controllers, astronauts, and more. We've taken all that. We've added developer tools where you can get at all that information, like is it on your head or off your head? And we've actually put a developer community around it. I'll show the link again at the end, but it's very simple. You go to developer.plantronics.com, you log in, you see sample code, you can interact with other developers, you can ask questions of myself, of Kerry, of other people that you're going to meet over the next couple of hours, and actually develop an entirely new set of simply smarter communications applications where Plantronics, with a couple of API calls, can bring this new contextual intelligence into the application you're already building. Many companies already starting to interact with the Plantronics technology to make their applications even smarter, and this is just a few. Companies like Sococo, Five9, ThreeWill, DataHug, who I think is going to be on our panel here later today, and others, are already taking the Plantronics smarter information, integrating it into their applications to deliver even more value to their customers together with Plantronics.